Welcome back. In this video, we'll learn about evaluation metrics used for classification problems. Before we dive into that, it will be helpful to define a formal way of representing the values predicted by our classification model and the actual values in the dataset. This will add a lot more clarity to our evaluation process. For this purpose, we use a confusion matrix. The word confusion might be there in the name, but don't worry. It's easy to grasp when you understand the intuition behind a confusion matrix. So let's begin. A confusion matrix is a n by n matrix where n represents the number of classes in the variable. In the Titanic dataset, our dependent variable had only two classes, 1 and 0, representing survived and not survived respectively. Therefore, in this case, the value of n will be 2, and the confusion matrix formed will be a 2 by 2 matrix. Note that there can be multiple classes in the dependent variable, but for this video, we are only going to use a 2 by 2 matrix or a binary matrix for easier understanding of the concept. Now, each row in this matrix represent the actual class values and the columns represent the predicted classes. Each row represents a class under the actual value and each column represents the class under the predictive value. Each cell holds some value and each of these cells represents some meaning that also decides the name of a particular cell. Let's discuss this in a bit more detail. Let's take a step back and first focus on the values predicted by our model. As this is a binary classification problem, the model can only predict two values, positive and negative, or as you can say 1 and 0. If we look at this column on the left, this column represents the values predicted positive by the model. Therefore, let us write P on those cells. So here it is. Similarly, the column on the right represents the values predicted as negative by our model. Once that's done, the next step is to check the predicted values against the actual values. The observed or actual value in our dataset can either be positive or negative, right? Since this is a binary classification problem. Now consider that the classification model predicts the value as positive, which implies that we are in the left column. So we need to check whether the values predicted by our model are actually positive. Let's say the value predicted by my model is 1 and the actual value is also 1. So in this case, the predicted value is correct or true. So in the cell positive, we can write T. Now if the value predicted as positive by the classification model, but actually the value is negative, in this case the prediction is incorrect, or we can say false. So in this cell we can write false since the model has predicted positive but actually the value is negative. So here are the names of these two cells. Similarly, the question comes, are the values we predicted as negative actually negative? If yes, then we can say that the model predicted negative, the actual value is negative, so the prediction is correct or true. On the other hand, if the model predicted negative, but the actual value is positive, I can say the prediction is incorrect or false. So the total number of actual positive values is given by true positive and false negative, while the total number of actual negative values are given by false positive and true negative. Now that we have understood the notation, what they mean, and how to write them, let us solve an example to solidify our understanding. I'll pull up the Titanic dataset again since we are quite familiar with it by now. Here we have a few examples from the actual dataset, and we know that whether the passenger on the Titanic has survived or not, the values are given in the actual column. Now suppose we build a model and it produces these given predicted values, as in this column. Here comes the notations we learned in the video. In order to compute the confusion matrix, we'll first denote each observation. So for the first observation, the predicted value is 0, which means n, but the actual value is 1. So this prediction is incorrect or false. Similarly, for the second observation, the predicted value is 1, so positive, and the actual value is also 1. So this prediction is correct, or I can say true. Similarly, I can fill for all the observations, and here are the notations for all the observations. So what's next? count the number of true positives, false positives, true negatives and false negatives. We'll start by counting the true positives. So here I have 3 true positives. So I can write 3 in this cell. Now let's count the number of false negatives. So I have 2 false negatives here. So in this cell I will write 2. And the next, let's look at false positive. So I have only 1 false positive here. So in this cell I'll write 1. And now let us count the number of true negatives. So I have 1 and 2 true negatives here. So in this cell I can write 2. And there we are. Congratulations on building your first confusion matrix. Let's quickly recap what we have learned in this video. We saw what a confusion matrix is and how we can represent the predicted values against the actual values. We also covered what each of these notation means in the confusion matrix. So if we have the actual values as positive and the model correctly predicts it as positive, then I can say the prediction is correct and it will fall in true positive. Similarly, a correctly predicted negative class is labeled as true negative. The false positives represent those values which were mistakenly predicted as positive. And similarly, for the false negatives, these are the values which were actually positive but mistakenly predicted as negative. In this video, we also learned how to denote each observation on the predicted label and the actual label, and how to fill the confusion matrix using these notations. In the upcoming videos, we'll be using this confusion matrix to derive various other evaluation metrics which are popularly used to evaluate our model's performance. Thank you.